People always say your life changes completely when you become a mom. Mine did too, but not in the way I thought it would. When my husband, Asher, saw our newborn son for the first time, he didn't cry, smile, or even reach for him. He just stared and said, "We need a DNA test." The whole room went quiet. Then, with a small smirk, Asher added, "He's way too cute to be mine." It felt like someone had popped a balloon. I was lying in my hospital bed, holding our baby, Henry, only a few hours after giving birth, and suddenly I felt like I couldn't breathe. I hugged Henry closer, his skin soft and pink, his tiny hand curled up near his cheek, making quiet baby sounds. He had no idea how heavy the silence was after his father's words. I laughed at first, because what else can you do when your husband of 4 years says something that strange? One nurse gave a nervous giggle, but nobody else smiled. My mom, who had been on her phone, suddenly sat up straight, looking tense. "Asher," I said, trying to keep things light, "what are you talking about?" He didn't laugh. He just crossed his arms and kept staring at Henry, almost like he was trying to solve a puzzle. That smirk stayed on his face. "I'm just saying," he shrugged. "Those eyes, that hair, the chin dimple, there's no way he got all the best features from me." I felt my face get hot, not because of the joke, but because of what he was hinting at. My chest felt tight, and my second laugh sounded weak. "So you're serious? You really want to test?" Asher stepped closer to the bed, leaned in to look at Henry, and said, "Just to be sure," as if he was talking about something routine, not about whether our baby was really his. I felt a slow burn of anger and sadness inside me. My hands shook as I held Henry tighter. His little body was the only thing making me feel safe, right then. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my mom stand up, arms crossed, lips pressed tight. She didn't say anything, but I knew she was thinking exactly what I was. She'd never fully trusted Asher, and maybe now, I was starting to see why. I looked at Asher, the man who held my hand at every doctor's visit, who painted the nursery, who said we'd name our son after his grandfather. But now he felt like a stranger. Just covering all the bases, he shrugged, like this was normal. But it wasn't normal. Suddenly, everything felt different. The happiness, the room, even Henry's little breathing, it was all hidden under a shadow from what Asher said. Why did it hurt so much? Didn't he trust me? Wasn't I enough? I didn't know. I only knew that this moment, which should have been perfect, was now the start of something I never saw coming. After Asher's comment, everything changed, not just in the room, but inside me. People think after giving birth, all you think about is your baby, counting their fingers and toes, falling in love again every second. But I couldn't stop thinking about Asher and what he said. We left the hospital 4 days later. My mom insisted on staying with us to help, but I think she just didn't trust Asher to be alone with me. I told her she was overreacting, but she just gave me a look, lips tight, and eyes soft with worry. Asher acted like everything was normal. He didn't mention the DNA test again. He changed diapers, made silly jokes, even took selfies with Henry and posted them online, writing, "Already got my mini-me." I tried to move on, to believe it was just a bad joke at the worst moment. But a strange, quiet worry had settled inside me. It wasn't just what he said. It was the way he sometimes looked at Henry, as if he was still trying to figure him out. One night, I caught Asher standing over the crib, just staring. He didn't see me. His eyebrows were tight, eyes squinting, like he was searching for something. When I came in, he jumped a little, then laughed it off, just wondering when he'll start to look like me. I smiled, but his voice made me uneasy. Small things started to worry me. A nurse from the hospital called for a routine checkup, but she sounded nervous when asking for Henry's hospital ID. I gave it to her, and she paused before saying everything was fine. That night, I looked through Henry's hospital papers and noticed the ID on his baby bracelet was 1 number off from mine. Maybe just a typo, but once you start to worry, it's hard to stop. I spent hours searching online about hospital mix-ups. I finally told Asher what I found. He laughed. "Are you serious? You got mad at me for even suggesting something might be off, and now you're acting like Henry might not even be ours." I tried to reply, But he went on, "Eliana, you're tired. You just had a baby. Don't let this get in your head." He kissed my forehead and left me standing there with a pile of papers and a head full of doubts. Maybe he was right. Maybe it was just exhaustion. But if everything was fine, why couldn't I stop worrying? I started double-checking everything: birth certificate, bracelets, old photos, ultrasound records. I became someone I didn't recognize, a new mom with a baby in one arm and a phone in the other, searching up worst-case scenarios. I didn't want to believe Asher was serious about the test. But now, deep down, I didn't know if he was wrong for asking, and that scared me even more. A few days later, Asher brought it up again. No fighting, just casual, over coffee like it was nothing. I found a clinic that does same-day DNA testing. Discreet, reliable, he said, sipping his drink. I blinked, unsure if I'd heard him right. "You're still thinking about that?" He looked at me, calm, maybe too calm. "I think it'll give us both peace of mind." I didn't answer right away. I just looked down at Henry, curled up on my chest. His tiny lips twitched as he dreamed. He looked so calm, so perfect. The idea that anyone, even his own father, could doubt him felt insulting. But if I was being honest, I'd been having doubts too. The wrong hospital ID number. The odd tone in the nurse's voice. The way Asher looked at Henry in the dark, like he was trying to solve a riddle. "I thought you were joking," I whispered, still watching Henry. Asher shrugged, half joking. "But seriously, Soph, wouldn't it give you peace of mind? You've been off. Nervous." He wasn't wrong. But the way he said it didn't sound worried. It felt planned. Like he already had a story in his head and was waiting for me to catch up. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept glancing at Asher out of the corner of my eye. Not because I thought he'd hurt Henry, but because suddenly, I wasn't sure I really knew him. Or maybe I never had. The next morning, I called the hospital. I said I had a few questions about Henry's birth records. After getting transferred a few times, I finally reached someone, a hospital administrator. Her tone was cautious. "Everything looks normal on our end," she said. "Healthy baby boy, born at 4:59 a.m., no complications." But his ID bracelet didn't match mine, I told her. "Just one digit off." "That happens," she said quickly. "Too quickly. We've updated our labeling system since then." I sat there for a long time with the phone in my hand. It felt like they wanted this to go away, like if they ignored it, it would disappear. Later that day, I started going through Asher's old stuff, documents, yearbooks, anything. I told myself I was just curious, but deep down, I was searching for something. A clue. Proof. One way or the other. But there were gaps. No baby pictures. No childhood keepsakes. Just a few adult IDs and a college diploma, without a middle name. I'd never noticed that before. When I asked Asher about it later, he laughed. "Told you, house fire. Burned all that stuff when I was a kid." Had he ever actually told me that? I couldn't remember. Suddenly, every small detail felt like a loose thread. And once you start pulling, it's hard to stop. I agreed to the DNA test. Not because I believe Henry wasn't ours, but because I needed proof. Not about Henry, about Asher. Of course, I didn't say that. I just nodded. "Okay." Asher exhaled, visibly relieved. And in that moment, I realized something. He wasn't scared of what we might discover. He was scared I'd stop asking. The test was set for Thursday. Asher handled it all, called the clinic, filled out the forms, even drove us there. Like it was just another chore. He was calm. Too calm. Meanwhile, I felt like I was walking around with barbed wire wrapped around my chest. Henry sat peacefully in his car seat, kicking his socks off again. He was the only one who seemed okay. I envied him. We dropped off the samples, mine, Asher's, and Henry's. The nurse told us we'd have results in 8 business days. On the drive home, Asher joked that he's 87% angel, 39% trouble. I barely heard him. My mind was already racing. 8 days. 8 days of not knowing. 9 days of wondering how my husband could even think our son wasn't his, and of realizing I wasn't sure who my husband really was. That night, I stared at my phone pretending to scroll while Asher slept beside me. My brain wouldn't quiet. His story about the fire kept playing in my head. It felt too clean. Too convenient. Why couldn't I remember him ever telling it before? The next morning, I dropped Henry off with my mom and went back to the hospital. I lied and said I'd left behind a blanket with Henry's name stitched on it. It was enough to get me back into maternity. When I saw Abigail, the nurse who looked uneasy after the birth, my heart jumped. She recognized me right away. Eliana, right? How's the little guy? Good, I said. But I have kind of a strange question. I told her about the mismatched bracelet, the weird follow-up call. Her face went pale. I'm not really supposed to say anything, she said, glancing around. But there was a glitch that night. For a second, our system showed 4 babies under your ID. It was flagged, but management said it was an error and told us to ignore it. My blood ran cold. Was Henry ever taken out of the room without me? I asked. She hesitated. Just for a quick routine check. How long is quick? She didn't answer. I left the hospital in a daze. My hands shook on the steering wheel. My throat was dry. For babies under your ID. The words echoed in my head. I couldn't tell Asher. Not yet. I needed more. So I started digging social media, archives, public records. I felt like a detective in my own life. And the more I searched, the more questions I had. No school records. No childhood friends posting memories. No pictures from before 2014. It was like Asher didn't exist until college. I stared at his blank profile photo on an old alumni page and felt sick. I thought I wanted proof Henry was ours. But now, I wasn't sure what scared me more. That Henry might not be Asher's. Or that Asher might not be Asher at all. The call came early Wednesday morning. I was in the kitchen, still in pajamas, rocking Henry when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Mrs. Evans, said a calm, clipped voice. This is Dr. William from Greenbrook Medical. We need you and your husband to come in today to discuss your paternity results. In person. In person? I repeated, my voice dry. Yes. It's urgent. My stomach dropped. When I told Asher, he just said, finally, and grabbed his keys. The drive was silent. Henry slept peacefully again, the only calm in the middle of a storm. At the clinic, a nurse brought us to a small office. Cold, sterile, too quiet. A clock on the wall ticked like a hammer. Then Dr. William walked in. He looked serious, gray at the temples, all business. He sat down, opened a file, and paused just long enough for my chest to clench. I'm going to be direct, he said. The results came back, and they are highly unusual. I held Henry tighter in my arms, suddenly more aware than ever of how warm, alive, and real he felt. He was my anchor in that moment, my only certainty. Dr. William looked at me gently before speaking. Eliana, biologically, this child is not related to Asher. I didn't flinch. Deep down, I think I had already known. Still, hearing it said aloud made my heart sink. But it was what he said next that changed everything. He turned to Asher. His eyes paused on him a little too long enough for something to shift in the air. A hesitation, maybe even fear. And Asher. Dr. Williams' voice dropped to a softer tone. You are not a biological match for this child. But what's more serious, your DNA doesn't match any records connected to the ID you provided. Asher went completely still. I looked at him, waiting for confusion or denial. But his face didn't move. No surprise. No anger. Just stillness. Dr. William calmly closed the folder in front of him. We ran your information, your name, date of birth, photo, through our internal system. It triggered a federal alert. I felt my stomach drop. My blood turned cold. What are you saying? I whispered. Dr. William didn't respond to me. Instead, he picked up the phone on his desk, pressed a button, and spoke a sentence I'll never forget. Security, we need you in room 4. Immediately. Time froze. I turned slowly toward Asher. And for the first time since I'd met him, I saw it. Just for a heartbeat. The flicker of panic in his eyes. Then it vanished. What the hell is going on? I asked, my voice shaky. Asher stood up, his face twisting in anger. This is insane, he snapped. You think I'm some kind of, what? Con artist. But Dr. William didn't budge. His next words were calm, but crushing. We don't think. We know. Your DNA matched a man named John. Arrested in 2017. Disappeared after posting bail. The real Asher Evans died in a car crash the following year. We don't know how long you've been living under his identity. I couldn't breathe. My ears rang. My vision blurred. The man I had married, the man I trusted, the father of my child, wasn't real. 3 uniformed guards stepped into the room. Asher, no. John looked at me. Not with guilt. Not even with shame. Just a quiet, tired kind of sadness, like he had once hoped he could really be someone else. Maybe even someone better. And then they took him away. Just like that, he was gone. Out of my life. Out of Henry's. And out of the web of lies we'd unknowingly built our lives around. I didn't cry right away. Not when the handcuffs clicked shut. Not when the door closed behind him. Not even when Dr. William handed me the DNA results like some final, devastating proof. I just sat there, frozen. Numb. Holding Henry to my chest, his small head tucked beneath my chin. He was the only real thing I had left. But to me, it wasn't a headline. It was my life. Turns out John, or whatever his real name even was, had been switching identities for years. Evading debt, skipping out on legal troubles. There were even rumors of fraud in another state. He wasn't physically abusive. He never raised a hand. But the betrayal cut deeper than any bruise ever could. Who fakes an entire life just to be with someone? And worse, who brings a child into that lie? For weeks, I couldn't stop blaming myself. I replayed every memory. Our laughs, our conversations, our shared dreams. I tried to spot the cracks, the red flags, the signs I had missed. But the truth? People like him are good at pretending. They become exactly what you need them to be. That's what makes them so dangerous. What haunted me most was the fear that Henry might not even be mine. That he had been switched, that I had left the hospital with the wrong baby. But after an investigation, the hospital confirmed the truth. There had been a system glitch, but it had been caught before we were discharged. Nurse Abigail had tried to explain it that day, but I was too overwhelmed to listen. Henry had never left my side. Not for a second. He was mine. From the moment he took his first breath. And still, John had used that brief moment of confusion to his advantage. He planted seeds of doubt, played into the chaos, made sure I questioned everything except him. It was smart. It was heartless. It was all part of the lie.